Hello well-wishers and welcome to my channel Aspiring Minds. In today's video, we are going to discuss the line-by-line meaning of the poem La Belle Dame Merci, written by John Keats. So grab your virtual seats and let's begin. John Keats was a famous English romantic poet and he was known for writing very well-known poems. His life was marked by tragedy because in the early years of his life he lost his parents, including his brother as well. Despite these hardships, Keats pursued his career in poetry, becoming one of the most celebrated romantic poets of his time. His poetry often explores themes of beauty, nature, and human experience. Now, first things first, the title of the poem is very unique. La Belle Dame Merci literally translates into the words the beautiful lady without mercy, and in French, the title suggests that the poem is going to be about the theme of love, which is not something that motivates you but destroys you. It's a destructive force, which was a common element seen in the Romantic period where people like Keats were writing. Now see, the poem was written in the year 1819 and this was a period of great personal and financial difficulty for John Keats. It was a year which was marked by the death of his brother Tom, and he had suffered from tuberculosis, and in those days there was no diagnosis, and it was a very bad disease, and at the same time Keats himself was suffering from terminal illness. So all this combined goes into the poem. Now, what is the main idea behind writing this poem? The poem explores the theme of love's destructive power. It tells the tale of a knight who encounters a beautiful woman, and the beautiful woman is named as the Belle Dame in a meadow. So the knight falls deeply in love with her, but the relationship turns out to be a kind of an enchantment. In today's terms, if I talk about it, it is a kind of an affection or an infatuation, a crush, so to say, and this kind of an attraction leads to his ruin. So the poem reflects on Keats's preoccupation with transient nature of beauty. It sometimes happens that we tend to get attracted to the other people because of their outward appearance or maybe some kind of a personality trait that you really admire about that person, and we start considering that as love. That is the same thing that would happen in Keats's time, and he has presented it in the form of a beautiful poem for you all. Now let us start decoding the lines of the poem, okay? Oh, what can ail thee, knight at arms, alone and palely loitering? The word loitering means moving about aimlessly. The sedge has withered from the lake and no birds sing. So in this opening stanza, the speaker encounters or meets a knight who appears troubled and is isolated. He is moving about all alone in this landscape. The knight is described as palely loitering, which suggests a sense of being tired, weary, feeling alone. The withered sedge by the lake and the absence of birdsong contribute to the overall atmosphere of decay and silence. That is, from the very beginning, you can see that the atmosphere is not satisfactory itself. Stanza 2. Oh, what can ail thee, knight at arms, so haggard and so woebegone? The squirrel's granary is full and the harvest done. The repetition of the opening question emphasizes the sadness, the troubled state of mind of the knight. His appearance is described as being haggard and woebegone, indicating that he is extremely exhausted, sad, tired, and he is not taking care of his physical appearance. The mention of a full granary and a completed harvest is in contrast with the knight's suffering, reinforcing that there is a sense of imbalance, a kind of a disharmony in the natural order of things all around. That while things in the granary are full, but with the knight, situation is not at all conducive, not at all correct. Stanza 3. I see a lily on thy brow with anguish moist and fever dew, and on thy cheeks a fading rose fast withereth 2. The speaker over here observes the physical signs of distress, the physical condition of the knight is being described here. The lily on the knight's brow symbolizes death and mourning, because lily is a kind of flower you use or is associated with death, while the fading rose on his cheeks signifies the transience of beauty, that beauty is not a thing which is permanent. The use of fever dew suggests the feverish, unhealthy condition of the night. I met a lady in the meds. Now, after all this has happened, an atmosphere of unease has been developed. The physical condition of the night has been told to us. We see in stanza 4 the knight talking in first person. This is how a change happens over here. I met a lady in the meds. Meds means meadows. Full beauty, a fairy's child. She was like a fairy's child. Her hair was long, her foot was light, and her eyes were wild. So the narrative takes a turn as the speaker recalls meeting a beautiful lady in the meadow. She is described as a fairy's child, that is, she possesses an enchanting fairy-like quality. Her long hair, light foot, and wild eyes contribute to the mysterious beauty of this fairy-like lady that he meets. Next, in stanza 5, the knight is captivated. He is attracted by the lady's beauty, and he creates a kind of a situation where he is trying to adorn her with things like the garland to further add to the beauty of the lady. So the lady responds with a look of love and makes a sweet moan, suggesting that she too is feeling a passionate connection between herself and the knight. So the creation of the garland and the bracelets over here symbolize the knight's devotion. When we are praying to God, don't we offer garland of flowers? Similarly, he is considering the lady to be like a goddess, and he is offering flowers to her, and the lady also seems to be reciprocating her love. The knight, next in stanza 6 we see, places the lady on his steed, and they spend the entire day together. The lady singing of a fairy song further adds to the sense of enchantment, that is, it is further captivating the knight, which reinforces that the lady tends to have some kind of supernatural or magical powers. The sidelong glances suggest a sense of mystery that is there associated with the lady. Stanza 7, he further describes that she found me roots of relish sweet and honey wild and manna dew, and sure in the language strange she said, I love thee true. So the lady over here provides the knight with magical sustenance. What does it include? Magical food items like the sweet roots, the wild honey, the manna dew. All these are wild food items which are provided by the lady to the knight. Her expression of love is in a language which is very strange, so it further adds to the sense of mystery that is associated with the lady, suggesting that this connection that has been developed between the knight and the lady is something that transcends the ordinary communication. In stanza 8, we see that the lady leads the knight to her elfin grotto. It is a hidden and magical place. However, she is weeping and sighing, which suggests that the lady too seems to be sad for some reason. At this time, the knight responds by tenderly closing her eyes with 4 kisses. This is an intimate gesture that is done by the knight towards the lady to ease her sadness, and this intimate gesture further deepens into a romantic and mysterious atmosphere between the two. In stanza 9, in the elfin grotto, the lady lulls the knight to sleep, which leads to a kind of a dream that is going to be announcing about a sense of doom. The cool hillside, in contrast to the warmth of the grotto, symbolizes that soon there is going to be a harsh reality which the knight will have to face. So it happens that when we dream, we tend to get mixed signals of whatever is going to happen in the future, or it comes in the form of a warning. The same thing is happening with the knight over here. In stanza 10, we see that the dream that the knight was having reveals something of a pale and death-like figure of the kings, princes, warriors, and all these figures are crying about the knight's attraction to the Belle Dame saw Merci, that is the beautiful lady who did not have mercy. So here we see the title of the poem is mentioned as a kind of a warning, indicating that the beautiful lady that the knight is being attracted to is a lady who is without mercy, and she has cast a spell on the knight and attracted him for the wrong reasons. Finally, we come towards the end of the poem, the last two stanzas. I saw their starved lips in the gloam, with horrid warning gaped wide, and I awoke and found me here on the cold hillside. So the dream that continues over here in stanza 11 shows the figure of starved people, and the people's faces that he sees are full of warnings. The knight suddenly wakes up and he finds himself where? On the cold hillside, and his dream, his enchantment, his attraction to that lady is gone. The dream serves as a kind of a foreshadowing for the bad state that awaits, the bad fate, the bad luck that awaits. And finally in stanza 12 we see, and this is why I sojourn here alone and palely loitering, though the sedge is withered from the lake and no birds sing. So the poem concludes, I love this way of Keats's writing. The poem concludes with the knight explaining the reason for his current state. We remember in the beginning we saw first three stanzas were devoted to the state that the knight was in. He gives an explanation of it now. So despite the desolation, the withered sedge, the silence of the birds, he still remains alone on the hillside. The repetition of the opening lines of the poem emphasize the enchantment, the attraction that the knight once had towards the lady, and what has been the result of it, the outcome of it is the present bad condition of the knight, of him being left in a state of missing the lady and roaming about aimlessly all alone in a vast landscape expecting for the lady's return. So now let us quickly discuss the major themes of the poem. The first and foremost is love and enchantment. By enchantment I mean when you are magically captivated by someone's beauty, someone's presence. So the poem explores the dangers that are associated with love. The knight's encounter with the beautiful lady leads to him being enchanted by her, and it ultimately results in his downfall. Secondly, we see the poem discusses the poet's obsession with transience of life and beauty. He presents a narrative where the nature of love is emphasized. The fading rose, the withered lake all symbolize impermanence of joy and beauty. That is, anything that you find beautiful is meant to be subjected to decay. It is going to fade away. Its beauty, its attraction is going to go away. So that is why we say never judge a book by its cover, or we also say that do not only fall for the physical qualities of a person. Thirdly, it talks about isolation and desolation. The knight's solitary state on the cold hillside highlights the theme of isolation or loneliness. There is no life in the surroundings where he moves about. And lastly, it talks about the concept of femme fatale, which I'll talk to you in details. If I were to elaborate the concept of femme fatale to you, it is like a character in stories who seems to be really attractive and charming, especially to men, but she is not as sweet as she looks. The lady in the poem is a classic example of this. She's so beautiful and the knight just cannot resist her, but there's something tricky about her. The term femme fatale literally means fatal woman in French, and it is used to describe a woman who intentionally or not causes problems for the men who fall for her. So in this poem we see the lady's enchanting looks hide a dangerous side. She leads the knight into a world of illusions and dreams, and in the end he's left alone and miserable. So the femme fatale is like a warning sign in stories, telling us that not everything that looks lovely is good for us. So that's it from this video. I hope you liked it. Do hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel for more such future updates. Thank you for watching. Bye.